Hello and welcome to our secret location for a very special Accurascale new model announcement. So Steve, the hoods are off. The secret is out.
Yes.
We have got a whole range of brand new 00 gauge clay hoods.
Clay hoods, yes. So, well, the clay hood really only applies to these ones over here. Originally, they were known as the 13-ton China clay opens. So we look at those from the start of the timeline to the very end of the timeline.
So tell us a little bit about the history of the clay wagons.
So, really, these were a development of the GWR-built wagons. So they predated the First World War, and they ran along West Country branch lines, carrying China clay and down to the docks. And that was pretty much their sole purpose in life. They wore hoods to keep the clay dry. And by the time BR was looking at building these, the wagons were nearing sort of 40 years old. And they needed replacing, so they came up with the 1/051 China clay wagon. Common features with the earlier Great Western 013s were the 9-foot wheelbase, purely because of the China clay handling facilities at the docks. So then they built, I think it was around 875 of these wagons over the course of 6 years or so. And they were the mainstay really of the movement of China clay right up until their withdrawal in the 1980s.
How did the change occur from this style of covering to the hood?
So the obviously the well-known part, like we say, is the clay hood. But if we go right back to when they were first built, we'll start around 1954, and the first 300 wagons that were built as unfitted, so they were grey, they didn't have any vacuum equipment, they were independently braked, so independent handbrakes both sides, and they were bespoke to that traffic. So as things were fitted with vacuum brakes, late 1950s, I think around 1958, newer batches had been built with vacuum brakes. They're still classified 13-ton opens, but then the earlier wagons went back into the works for retrofitting, so they got vacuum equipment and repainted into the common brown livery we've got here. Moving forward, you go into the tops era, 1970s, you've got wagons then classified as OOVs, still with the flat hood, so a long period of time with the flat hoods. In those days as well, they used to travel hooded, loaded, and then the sheets, hoods, tarpaulins, however you want to say, would be folded up and either placed in a box van at the end of the train or put in the wagon itself. Moving to the clay hood proper, this was a result of basically the British weather caused the wagon sheets to pool water, and as the sheets got older they would leak and contaminate the clay, or China clay. So the pointy pent hoods were devised to deal with that. And these wagons would travel with the hoods up, both loaded and unloaded. But that started around 1973. So we've got two versions of these with, they were re-tops coated in the 1980s, early 1980s. So you've got OOVs and, I can't think, the UCV was the other one. So again, we've got something to cater for all eras.
And they would have been seen throughout Cornwall, also into Devon, but also further afield on longer journeys as well.
Yeah, so while they were primarily for the local branch lines and transshipment from the dries to the docks, most traffic that went further afield were carried in the larger open wagons. but these were also used. So there would be mixed in, maybe not a full train load, but there was trains running to the potteries, there was trains running, certainly they made their way down into Kent, to Bowwaters, and right up into the West Highland line in Scotland as well. So there was traffic, China clay traffic going all over the country.
And locally, these could be quite long trains, couldn't they?
Yeah, it was, they're the ultimate pick-up goods because they're all one type, really. And as the smaller locomotives, your pannier tanks and BT well tanks and so on, would be working their way along the Cornish branch line. They'd be picking up a few wagons from each of the dries and taking them down to the main line where they'd be formed into longer trains, up to, certainly in the later cases, 50 wagons or more. And then they'd be taken down to the docks for transshipment into ships.
So how long has your project been underway?
Well, quite a while, as you can see, because we've got decorated samples here. So we've been quite tight-lipped about it. It's something that I've been quite keen to do for a long time, actually, is an upgraded clay hood wagon, because they're such an iconic vehicle, such a part of the Cornish railway scene, but also, it's something that I think a lot of enthusiasts and modellers sort of associate, the clay hood with the Class 37 or the Class 50 and so on. But yeah, in timeline wise, we're about a year and a half in on these. Obviously, you can see the EPs that we've had there, and we're at the decorated sample stage now. So,
you talk us through the specification of the new models, because you're doing different versions.
Yeah. So we've got something for everything. We go right from the unfitted grey version with the independent brakes, no vacuum equipment, through to the fitted. We've got variations with the axle boxes. So we've got the plate axle box, we've got the split axle box, and roller bearing, because later on some of them were fitted with rollers for use on those longer distance trains. We've got difference in buffers, so we've got the standard heavy duty buffer, but we've also got an oleo buffer on some, which I think I can't find now, but they are somewhere here. And again, we've got the ones, the hooded wagons have got the removable, well, they've all got removable tarpaulins, but the hooded wagons have got the sheet rail underneath with the fittings there. So subtly as well, you might notice the tarpaulins folded over the wagon edges more on the flat hoods than they did on the pent hoods. So they've actually got a different method of fixing. The earlier wagons have got a round cleat on the side for fixing to, whereas the later ones were fitted with hooks because the tarpaulins would have pre-fitted ropes. So there are subtle variations as well in there.
They look really effective, and they're moulded hoods, aren't they? They're moulded covers.
Yeah. These are, so the early ones here. These were 3D prints to see what we could actually do with them, and we changed a few dimensions. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how they've come out the mould actually. Especially these ones, with the ripples, it really looks like a loaded wagon.
It does. It really does look effective. So how many are you producing in the initial batches of models?
So these will be available in triple packs.
Yeah.
We've tried to make it as simple for the modeller to order as possible, So the triple packs will be in pairs of era. So there'll be 2 triple packs for the unfitted. There'll be 2 triple packs for the fitted bulk site. There'll be 2 triple packs for each particular period of the timeline. There'll be 12 altogether. I've got a few extra packs of the pent hood versions because people want to make up longer trains, and these are slightly less mix and match than what those are. So there's all variations in printing. There's different replacement planks. There's different painted areas. There's differences in all the decoration on there. So no 2 wagons are the same virtually.
I noticed also underneath the detail that you've got there that you don't naturally see until you take it off.
Yeah. So again, underneath we've gone to the works drawings as to be expected with one of our projects. We've got a die-cast chassis in there, so the actual chassis rails are all die-cast. We've got that obviously helps with the weight, and then we've got brass bearing cups as well. So when you've got a decent train load of these, they roll really freely and they've got a real nice feel to them. But yeah, it's got the full detail underneath as per the real wagon.
Well, they do look absolutely superb. When are you expecting them to arrive?
So all being well, these being the decorated samples, I've got no real cause for concern. These will go virtually into production in the, straight away, I would imagine. And then we'll be looking for delivering them in the second half of this year. Hopefully.
And how much?
So the important thing. So these will be $89.95 as a triple pack. But then obviously, if you buy these in multiples, certain retailers or ourselves, we will offer a rake discount and a bundle deal. So, with a wagon such as this that does run in train loads, it really helps.
Well, look, Steve, thank you for joining us today and revealing your brand new 00 gauge China clay wagons, which we're really looking forward to seeing later in the year. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Thank you for watching. You can find out more details on our website at keymodelworld.com and also in the latest issue of HM212. And don't forget, put your hood up. It's cold outside. Bye for now.
Spot on.